Namaste, my dears. Well, I continue to share a little bit on the topic of preparation for pregnancy. In the past video, I spoke what men should do, and I'll share a little bit what women can do, best of all for the preparation. Um, as for the man, the most valuable thing is that in the beginning you would clean yourself. So the man preparation is before the pregnancy. So before you decide to have sex, when will happen, let's say, the creation of the child. Then for the woman, it is also important to clean themselves, but much more important, it's how the woman will feel themselves during pregnancy. So for one of the most fundamental things which we have to know, which we always had in our history until we got the social revolution and the feminine revolution in the 50s, women had the opportunity of staying home, taking care of the family, taking care of the children. Eventually, as this is such sometimes very hard type of labor, it's such energy an emotionally consuming thing that was the only way how children could grow up healthy and happy. It's when their mothers can dedicate them time, and that's why women were provided everything what they needed so they could be happy, have all of the protection and all of the support that they need, so they could focus in passing on this love towards the children. Then in the 20th century, why we have so many problems? Because the family institution has been changed. And from the 19th century, they started to focus that children would rely not on their families, but they would start to rely on government and corporations. And this was the number one reason why they made free education. Education, it's a form of enslavement that a child would refocus their values from the family up to the authority. And of that reason, we live in a time when, from the moment when women can fully dedicate themselves to the family, and a man could earn enough money so to take care of the whole family. We live right now in a society when women, let's say, when a family, two family members, man and woman, have to work, they still don't have enough of money. And the woman, she has to give birth and she has to run back to work. And personally, I was just shocked when I found out that in the West, at least in the US, women have to return back to work already like in 2 weeks of time or 3 or 4 weeks. You just have to understand that it's such stupidity, that's such a disrespect towards all of women, that's such a big damage for the psychic and the health of the whole nation, that you can just open statistics, what is happening with the children in US, and see their health and the level of, let's say, of involvement of women into, let's say, purely work, that why it's so important and why it has such a big damage. First of all, it's connected with how the woman feels. So, my dears, if you want to have a baby, remember, you have to take care of yourself and, first of all, of your psychic. So you would relax, that you wouldn't have any stress. Anybody who creates stress for you, as for example, work, if it does, put it aside. Because the stress that you're feeling inside will be passed on to the child. In my opinion, it should be a human right that a woman would have the opportunity for 1.5, 2 years, be protected so she could take care of her baby, and that she could give all the love, because through this connection, neurons develop, health develops, and every person is potentially someone who can have a big impact on all humanity. So it's not about the masses, it's about really those very small amount of healthy, developed, and strong people that make the biggest change. So, but to make such people, we have to take care of them when they're still in the belly and then when they're small. So what happens when stress appears in a woman's life? For example, during pregnancy, this is being passed on to the child. what the woman feels, that feels the child. If the woman feels insecure, if she feels stressed, the child feels stressed and secure. So, for example, the traumas in the first perinatal matrix, and that is the matrix when we're just in the womb, it can happen simply from let's say if the relationship between the woman and the man are not stable, she's not confident, will the man take care of her? Or let's say they had a quarrel and he walks away and the woman understands she has to go by herself, and this creates such big fear of uncertainty and etc. And of course this is being passed on to the child because he starts to feel that he is being unwanted because he will be abused, and he feels this fear. So as a result, the child already from the moment he is in the womb, he will feel that the world doesn't want him. And when the child will be born, he will have this psychological damaging mindset his life until he heals that trauma. That's the first perinatal matrix. And the second one, it's like when the cramps happen. And so the second perinatal matrix is when the cramps start to happen. The third one, when the baby starts to move through the birth channels. And the fourth matrix is when we're being born physically, that we move out of the mother. Why is this so important to know? That at any point of this one of the four matrices, there could happen a damage, a trauma to a child, after which it will stay with the person for a lifetime. So for example, the damage in the second perinatal matrix, it's when the process of giving birth is happening painful and hard. So let's say the woman was taken to the hospital. So and that's where everything can begin. Why it's so painful for women, let's say, to have children right now, to give birth, and what is the difference from ancient times? And this, you can see a reflection. There's a film called Parfumer, yeah, from the word perfume. And it starts where his mother, from the main character, mother is just standing there and cutting fish. And while she stands, they just show how on her feet a child and falls down. And that's it. She cuts the placenta and she continues to cut the fish. So when people saw this for the first time, they were shocked. How can it be? How can a woman? Because we see that she has so much pain and etc. But also they show the answer that she was standing. You know, natural gravitation. Have you heard about it? Have you heard about that? If you stand like this, then the natural gravitation helps for the child to come out. But if you lay down like this, no gravitation helps, and actually the gravitation will block the opportunity of giving birth because the child will be just lying there in the stomach. So the moment they started to put, and that happened in the 20th century, they started to put women in the position of birth, not in a standing position, but in a laying position. This is when the woman had to totally go against the nature of giving birth. And as a result, the woman has to use such muscles in pushing out the baby that she literally never used before. This is super painful. This is super stressful. And that's why we have many cases when they cut the baby. Why? Because the pain from this unnatural way of giving birth creates the pain, which can block the muscles, like, and then the woman cannot do nothing because for the baby to come out, she needs to relax. But the woman is feeling such pain that everything just locked in. And then what they do? Yes, let's cut. And as a result, many cases, and it also happens in European countries, that hospitals would get a financial benefit for a more harder type of birth. So they would get more money for having a hard case during birth time rather than getting a good money or premier for giving an easy birth, where an easy, healthy child would come out, mother would be happy, child would come easy, and everybody in harmony. For this, they don't get money, but they get extra money if it will be more painful, there would be problems during birth, you would have to cut, and nobody wants to take responsibility for that. So as a result, the system itself, it focuses not to support women in giving birth, but on the opposite, to create for them more stress, because on this, there can be, especially men, let's say, and children, they will be weak, they will have problems in their health, in their mental, physical, psychic, emotional level. So that's uh, that's already the third matrix when the child is coming out, and they would cut it. And the fourth one is the birth and being already present here. And as I shared with the men, I want to repeat important thing. Don't allow the placenta to be cut down at the roots of the child. Cut the placenta the furthest you can say away. It will be very natural. You'll see how the juice is coming there. And allow this placenta to stay with your child until it will naturally fall off. It won't take so much time, from 1 to 7 days, and you will see how the child will suck everything in. And don't listen to those thieves which are making profit on the biology of your newborn daughter or son. Don't trust people who are earning money on destroying your health. Always listen to your inner voice and try to avoid places where you will be pushed upon doing something that won't bring benefit to you or to your child. You have to take care of yourself. You have to say how it has to be done. You're the one who can explain and create the barriers. And if you make a good connection with your man, you can both protect your interest. And of course, my practical suggestion is to find such women which have the wisdom how to get the birth, to receive the birth. Eventually, the most beautiful thing is to do it at home. And just in case you can do it at home, and at the same time, if something goes unplanned and that woman, there's a special name for her, I forgot it, how's it in English, but she will tell you that it's better to go to the hospital. And then the hospital, well, you would already, let's say, they can help out if you need any cuttings or anything. But in the majority of cases, everything goes so smooth. And also, important thing, after the child has been just born, it's important not only to cut, not to throw away the placenta. It is super, 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 super important that the child would be together with the mother. So imagine we were with our mother for 9 months inside of her, and then we're being born, where especially like somebody hits us on the butt and then throws us into a different room, puts us in a blanket, and just ignores us for a long time. So the principle is that the more time the child stays close to the mother, the more physical connection it has to her skin, the more healthier it is, the more protected he feels, the more loved she feels, and the more neuron brain cells develop. You have to understand that every touch that you do to a child, it develops neuron brain cells. Everything is very quickly developing. And the more interconnection you make with your child within the first 2-3 years from the moment they're being born, this creates a fundament for the whole lifetime. So I think one of the most important things in being a parent, especially to focus on the beginning process. If you can do it nicely, then your child will, she grows up, will be very strong and moving on by themselves. So this is another thing which I would recommend to take in accountability if you want to develop a healthy child, and so that the birth would go good and smooth. Best of all, at home, best of all, to create the environment, to have a specialist there who already took many children, no, help to receive birth. Know that giving birth like in water, or where the woman would have a more natural gravity, it's a lot more healthier and supportive, and the birth process happens much more smoother, much more easier. And of course, prepare yourself. This comes for the woman. Your hips. There are specific exercises which help you to open up your hips so the bones would be more easily open when you're going to give the birth. And there's a lot of video materials on this topic on YouTube, which you can check by other women. So just know it's a beautiful and a natural process. The more you prepare, the more healthier and easier it will be to grow up your children. Why? So when, for example, I have friends who allowed the placenta of the children uh, to stay for this first week, the difference of these children to others are that they don't shout, they're not afraid to stay by themselves without parents. You feel in seeing their eyes a lot more clarity. They have a lot more trust to themselves, and the most important, I would say, they don't cry so much. They don't shout. They don't act so nervous like children do, which got traumatized during this birth time and period. And of course, as I told you, try to avoid all that you can from the jabs that are offered. I, for example, was my mother didn't agree on jabbing when I was small. I think I got only one, the most first one, and then later on she forbid to do anything, not in the school, not etc. So as a result, I can tell you that yeah, I grew up a healthy and a happy man with a very developed health and a very strong resilience and a big amount of stamina. And I'm very grateful for my mother because that was absolutely, you can say, against the system back then. But she did it, and I'm super grateful for her. And this helped me to become who I am, simply for her standing up for my health and not trusting my health to the system helped me to develop strong and beautiful. And of course, through that, I can make a great input towards the life of my family and give back the gratitude what they have invested in me. So I wish you sincerely that you would be happy, your partner will be happy, your children will be happy. Remember, everything starts from you. Your psychic, your soul, your feelings, they matter the most. Take care of yourself. Put yourself on the first place. Who cares about those factories, work, and business? Just be happy. Do that what fills you of feeling protected, loved, and yeah, and it will be a beautiful, beautiful process and results that you will get through the investments of your offers that you do. So, David, I hope that this information will help you and your wife have healthy, beautiful, unbelievably fun and joyful children and everybody else. I hope that this will help everyone who is searching. And yeah, and you know what to do. If you found this helpful, share, comment, donate, join the community, do anything what you feel that resonates and that will profoundly help me to continue to share the information, which is valuable for the ones who are in search. So, thank you, darlings, and wish you all a beautiful week. Much love and blessings. Namaste.